Hi, Dr. Nicola here, and today I wanted to talk to you about, I was trying to think of something funny, like when the divorce and a colonoscopy walked into a bar, but it was eluding me, so I'm just going to get to what I'm trying to say here, which is a few months back I had a patient of mine who was getting ready for a colonoscopy. Nothing was going on, health is good, turning 50, just doing the routine colonoscopy. And we sat down to chat for a minute, and she was, and we were just doing a shot. And we decided to, or she was just sharing how afraid she was of this colonoscopy and how she really, no matter what she did, she couldn't get out of this agitated nervous system state of just being really, really nervous. And I was like, well, I happen to have an hour. Do you want to just clear this? And she's like, you can do that? So we did that. And when we sat down and we started talking about it, and we kind of went through these different layers of fears that make sense, right? The fear of the unknown, family history of some colon cancer, et cetera, et cetera. All of it made a lot of sense. And then she started really feeling into this sense of a fear of being abandoned, a fear of being let down, and a fear of, and then this really deep fear of the unknown. And so we peeled back all of the layers and just got to this little girl who's maybe about 9 years old. This is part of the internal family systems work that I've also been trained in, combined with the golden heart wisdom of, what's going on here. And what we revealed was when she was 9 years old, her parents had gotten a divorce, and there were all these unresolved feelings from that time of feeling like things were beyond her control, and she didn't know what was happening, and she didn't know why it was happening, and she couldn't trust the adults in the room, and she felt really disempowered and apart from her emotions, like they weren't allowed to be present. And so going to this procedure was bringing up all of these feelings again, but it was so subtle and so hidden. And so we really spent some time showing up for this part of her that was really nervous and helping create some dialogue between her and this little girl that ended up creating some affirmations and some reminders for her to have with her body in the present moment around, this is a voluntary procedure. I have, done my homework, and I've researched that these are the best providers. These providers have the best intentions for me. I'm an adult. I can advocate for myself and speak up. They will listen, unlike when she was a child. And really, just this sense of how to be able to show up for herself, and not only with the physical prep and, my advice to use some chamomile tea after the procedure in order to help move the gas out, because that's typically what's uncomfortable after a colonoscopy, so there's all these different pieces, right? But the crux of it was addressing this fear so that she could go into this procedure in a really regulated nervous system state, which then on a physiological level will help her to heal from the procedure and recover and allow something that really is a physical trauma, getting a colonoscopy. Anytime that we invade the body in any way, be that pelvic exams or colonoscopies or blood draws or surgeries, even if they're elective, these are all, our body registers them as trauma. And so we really want to set ourselves up in a really big way to address those anxieties and those fears and those worries that are coming up. And my offering to you is just know that there might be something deeper than you're aware of in your conscious mind, and that sometimes having a guide to help facilitate that can really allow us to peel back those layers. And like I said, we only had an hour, and we were able to clear that for her and have her little girl feel like she's got somebody really looking out for her, and then also having a practice that she could bring in to that procedure. And then she came out on the other side of the procedure feeling great. She didn't have any side effects. Her results were totally normal. Everything was great. And she was like, do you think they would have been normal if we hadn't cleared that? And that's always a question that's impossible to answer. But the mind and the body, I have a love-hate relationship with that term, because in one way it tries to connect them back together. But from my deep philosophical place, there's never been a difference between the mind and the body. They are one entity, and they are always, always, always in playing off of each other and impacting and influencing and affecting one another. So what would have happened had we not cleared that? I don't know, but this is the bridge, right, between the mind and the body, between the physical and the mental, emotional, and really understanding that your body, when it's expressing symptoms, is always trying to tell you something, and it's always an opportunity to clear the next layer of gunk that we have from our past experiences, from our family line, from the collective. There's all sorts of places we pick up stories and beliefs and energies, and so when we get to really look at these things and presence them, it allows these experiences to integrate in our system, and then our nervous system doesn't keep tripping over them. And when our nervous system isn't constantly in a reactive state, we have better immunity, we have more balanced inflammatory responses, our gut function is better, our blood pressure is more regulated, our blood sugar is more consistent, all of these things. So which comes first? I don't know. I think they're simultaneous. But again, this is an invitation to whatever is happening for you in your body, in your heart, in your mind. This is an opportunity to step forward and get curious and go a little deeper and see what little gems are there for you to mine out and then put in the proper place so that we're not tripping over them and falling into patterns that we feel stuck in, that we're ready to be done with. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you want to dive a little deeper into any of this, please feel free to join one of my memberships. We meet live once a month via Zoom, and I would love to see you there and go deeper or explore what's happening for you on an individual level. Thanks again. I really appreciate your time and attention. Talk soon.